Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're going to be talking a bit about Nickelodeon All Star Brawl. Obviously, the smash killer that it's going to be. This is a game that got recently announced in the last couple of months and is coming out very soon. 5th of October, I believe. And this is a game that is essentially a platform fighter. And it's full of Nickelodeon characters, and I think a lot of people are actually kind of excited for it. Now, unfortunately, being the kind of licensed games, they're not normally that good. However, this is a game that I've been keeping my eye on because it seems like the people making it, while a smaller studio, seem to really like platform fighters. I think they made a game called Slap City. But this is their chance to make something a bit bigger, and I've been watching a lot of the gameplay, and I've been watching, trying to get a feel for what the game is and what they're going for, and while it is obviously a game aimed at younger audiences, they are putting in a lot of stuff in this game that looks like, to have some kind of potential for some more of a pro scene. But I thought I'd just give my thoughts on it, because this is a game that I went from being like, this is kind of cool, to kind of interested in buying it and playing it. And I have to put my biases aside for a minute. I am a huge fan of Super Smash Bros. There are no games that are on the level of Super Smash Bros. In terms of quality. We've had a very consistent games out of them. Say what you want about Brawl or Wii U or whatever. I think all the Smash games are good. They bring a ton of content. They bring a ton of quality. That franchise just goes above and beyond most other video games. There's just no question of that. To see more platform fighters is always good. Now, I've only played a couple of other platform fighters, one being Brawlhalla, which is fun, but it is a little bit floaty, and also, I can't think of the name of the other one. There's another game that's on Switch that I have played. It's not Rivals of Ava, it's a 3D one, and that was pretty good, but it had its issues. I think with platform fighters specifically, it's all about the controls and how the game feels, and if that feels off and you can't get behind it, you really won't enjoy the game. That's the thing about Smash, is that every character seems to handle completely differently, so you're bound to find someone, but the core mechanics are always the same. However, having now watched a bunch of the character reveals, a bunch of the character trailers, their movesets and things, All Star Brawl actually looks like it's got some serious depth there. Now, it is going to come down to the impact of those attacks, the combos, the things you can do, figuring the game out over the first couple of days and really finding a character that works for every individual. As someone who doesn't know all these characters, now, there are characters in this game that I did watch, Cat Dog being one of them. I've seen Ren and Stimpy, but I don't remember much about it. I've never watched SpongeBob, which might surprise a lot of people, but obviously Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I've seen that. I've seen parts of Avatar. So there are characters in this, even though I recognise all of them, there are characters in this that I've seen from their original shows. And so obviously certain ones are going to appeal to me more, like Leonardo. Yeah, he might be the more kind of boring character, but I've always liked his dual sword approach. He looks quite fun in the game, and to be fair, most of the characters look quite fun in this game. And so this is something that I was like, oh mate, maybe this is the game I should pick up and potentially stream it and just play it and make content on it, because I think it'll be kind of fun. I think people want to see it. I think people generally want this game to be good and to do well, and I'm hoping that the developers, they seem to want to put out a good product and support it. The biggest problem this game has right now is that it seems like some characters still could do with a bit of work on their animations and how much frames each move use. For those people that don't know, when you punch or kick, you have frames of animation, and so if you've got a move that has 10 frames of animation, that's usually the animation of the attack. So if you're throwing a punch, that's maybe it's the punch coming out, winding up, and then landing with a hitbox. And it does look like certain characters are animated better over other characters, and granted, this doesn't have the budget of a massive AAA Nintendo game, and I wouldn't expect that. But I look at it and I think, this is going to live and die by kind of the quality that's here and how they support it and update it and things. And so far, it looks like it's going to be a solid game. I think this is one of those games that will be a 7 out of 10, where people will pick it up and they will have fun with it. What the longevity is of this game, who knows? Because they're saying it's got single player and online multiplayer and probably local multiplayer as well. But this is a game that doesn't have any items. You know, Smash is kind of unique. That has a lot of stuff. You have items and all that. This has a smaller roster, which is completely respectable. I think there's 20 characters at launch. There's a couple more coming. There's DLC coming. They've already announced. So likelihood is they're going to have all these big names slapped all over this, and people will pick it up because they go, "Ooh, that's SpongeBob. That's CatDog for the older audiences," or they've got like Danny Phantom and the Loud House in there. I've never watched those shows, but they're clearly popular enough to have these characters on here. And seeing everything, I'm like, this is a really cool idea. I'm a little bit worried about the quality, and I won't know that until I actually play the game myself, because like I said, it comes down to, with these games, how they live and die by their controls. And obviously if people do get into it, it's going to live and die by its online or local multiplayer options. We've seen the stages look fine. I mean, obviously they're not going to be too crazy. I've seen there's one of the Hey Arnold stage on a bus, which to be fair looks like my favourite stage so far. We've seen SpongeBob's, we've seen Patrick's stage, we've seen the Technodrome from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we've seen CatDog's house. We've seen a lot of stages, but so far only one of them I don't really like the look of, which is this big Ferris wheel. It just looks really awkward to fight on. But the one thing in this game, I think, for me personally, that is going to be a huge downfall and may stop me playing it, is the soundtrack to this game is pretty dire. All the music's very generic, nothing stands out. I think the bus level has like the best track I've heard. The music on the Ferris wheel stage already I can tell is going to get really annoying, and I think I've been spoiled over the years by Smash Brothers by having a selection of tracks, and thinking about it, I'm like, you know what, I think that might be what these kind of brawlers need. I think going forward you do need a couple of bits of music on these games to kind of keep it fresh, you don't get bored of it. But the music in this sounds so generic. It doesn't have that kind of pop and that kind of pizzazz that you would want in this kind of game. You know, this is a high octane fast fighting game. Like, give us some track. I know that there's a lot of licensing issues when it comes to music. I know there's obviously licensing issues why there's no voicing in this game. But whoever the composers are, I think they could do a better job. And I know that's kind of a bit of a harsh thing to say with all the games out, but yeah, man, I think you need to get away from this, try and make it sound like the shows, and just make the tracks pump and go really well with what's going on screen, and that will have a massive impact on me personally, because if the music's really boring, like, it's going to affect me how I play it. But overall, like, what I'm seeing of this game, I'm seeing a game here that looks pretty solid. We're basically a week and a bit out from when it comes out, and maybe 2 weeks now. And yeah, I'm generally really interested to see how this game plays and whatnot. The fact that it's got as much traction as it has, and the way that Game Mill have just been pumping out like these quick trailers of gameplay and just being like, here's a look at this character, here's a look at, like, even sometimes 2 to 3 a day. They're like, here's these characters. They're ramping up the what would you call it, the advertising for it, like marketing on that right now. And every time I watch them, I like the fact that they're going in hard with it. They're like, hey, this is how this character plays, this is how we want the character to play, and they're like, every reference is from the show. And it's like, you see different characters. We've already seen some characters be really interesting. CatDog is obviously, CatDog is a cat and a dog in one, and depending on which way you're facing, you get different. Some attacks are different. If you play as April O'Neil, you can power up your microphone, and when it's at like max or whatever, what they call like star rating or ratings ability, you punch someone with a move and it uses that to add extra damage. So these guys clearly know what they're doing in terms of this game. This game sounds really interesting and fun to play. I just hope that when it does come out, there is a longevity there and there's stuff to do for single player as well. Because I'm going to be checking. I think I've made a decision of buying this. Maybe I'm hoping that reviews go out a few days before it comes out, before I decide to do that. But yeah, I'm just genuinely impressed. I'm not expecting it to be the level of Smash. I never was. I don't expect the visuals to be super amazing. This is just a game for all ages, made for all ages, with that competitive like sort of idea in mind, and it's doing its own thing. It's not trying to be a carbon copy of Smash Brothers. it's hard not to compare things to Smash, as Smash is like the premier platform fighter, and we haven't had a huge amount in that genre. We've had like a Beautiful Joe game, we've had a PlayStation All Stars game. I think Shrek even has a game like that. You know, these games do exist, but none of them have the polish and quality as Smash. And again, I'm not expecting it from this game. I just want to see what this team can pull off, and if it's a fun game, and it's going to be one of those games that I do pull out from time to time and play with friends, because, you know, we might all be like, oh, I remember that character, he seems fun. You know, people playing like Ren and Stimpy, Cat Dog, some of the older characters, and that's awesome. Like, being able to do that, and especially having Aang and I think the other one, Korra, from both of their respective shows in it as well. I think that's going to be quite a big draw for a lot of people, and this is the power of like Nickelodeon having all this series and franchises, that they've got so much to pull from, like Nintendo has with Smash, where they have tons of IPs that they can pull from. These guys can, you know, pull from all these things, and we haven't even seen all of their stuff in this yet. And if the couple of characters are from other shows that they own, that's great. You're going to keep pulling people in, and this is one of those games that might actually be decent enough as a licensed game, and actually propel this to make a couple of million. You know, I feel like if this game sells 1 million copies, they've done really well. If it sells anything above that, it's done extremely well, and it probably will sell that. It'll be one of those games it's probably going to sell best on Switch, honestly, but it's on everything. And yeah, I'm just very curious at this point to see how this ends up turning out. And yeah, I'm just at this point just looking forward to seeing the last of the characters that I don't know much about, and seeing those come out and seeing how they play. Right now I want to play Leonardo and I want to play Cat Dog. Those are the two characters I've seen. I'm like, yeah, they look like they suit my style. But I'll play everyone, I always do in these games, and I kind of hope not all of them are... I hope that some of them are locked, because I'm a big fan of unlocking stuff in game. So I'm hoping some stuff's locked in the game when I first boot it up, but we'll see. But yeah, there's just some sort of ramblings and thoughts on this, because I was originally going to look at the trailers and cover them, but I didn't really fancy doing all of them. So I'll just give you an overthoughts on what I'm thinking, what this game looks like, how I hope it ends up being, and just, you know, I'm genuinely interested in it, and I hope it does well. I don't want this game to be, you know, just crapped on because it doesn't have that budget like Smash. I hope people actually do get fun out of this game, and I hope this game does well. And this is the kind of game that seems to be... the developers seem super into it, and I think it's also the fact that it just seems it's really fun, it's colourful, and it's a kind of positive thing I think sometimes the gaming just needs. It's just a fun, colourful brawler like this, very silly kind of game, and hopefully, yeah, it will just blow up and be a really fun game for people of all ages to play, and potentially a competitive scene with the wave dashing that's being added and the way you can move and dodge and stuff, and it seems really interesting. I can't wait to get my hands and play it. So I think that's going to do it for me today then, guys. That's my thoughts on Nickelodeon All Star Brawl. Like I said, it's only a few weeks away now, and you can check it out. If you like the video, hit like. If you want to see more content like this, then hit subscribe. Links for Facebook and Twitter will be down below in the description as always. And until next video, I will see you then.